the PlayStation Plus premium experience. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. We're going to be diving into just what this top tier service has to offer in regards to games, streaming experiences, and generally perks for those that are a member. So we still have the traditional PlayStation Plus offering. You know, you get the games, you get the online multiplayer benefits, you get all that kind of cool stuff. Then there's like a middle tier, but this is the top tier, and we're going to focus on it because it has, you know, a little bit of everything in it. So for me, the most exciting and interesting elements of this was the fact that I'm going to get to experience a lot of games that I kind of missed out on. Or at least I kind of thought that was going to be the thing when it comes to the classics. Now, with that, I have been able to try a bunch of different games I haven't played before from the PlayStation library, and I think, really for this, the biggest benefiters of this service are those that don't really buy a lot of games. Now, I don't really consider this to be a competitor to Game Pass, because it really isn't. I think it's a fair comparison to be like, wow, they're trying to, do something similar to that sort of thing. I think that's very fair. But this is definitely something that, to me, is a little bit more. It's a great way to boost your library for those that have maybe, never played on PlayStation before, are new to the service, everything like that. Or for those that just maybe don't have a lot of time and don't really buy a lot of games. You get a number of different experiences here and a number of different ways to play. So we're going to dive into each of the different areas and then kind of, break it down further, because there's a lot to decompress here, and I've been trying to play a bunch of different games. So let's start with the benefits. So first up, you get game trials. So this is to give you a couple hours to take a look at a game and see if you like it. Now, I was hoping that there would be more games here. I was under the assumption that this was going to be almost everything was going to get some sort of trial like this. I could be like, well, wow, I could try all these different games, do videos and stuff, it'd be great. But at least here at launch, it's a very limited selection. Now, that being said, we do have some fairly new releases in here to try out. We've got Horizon Forbidden West, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, we've got WWE 2K22, Crusader Kings 3, Spellforce Reforced, these are pretty new games. Some of them a little bit older, like Lego City Undercover or Cyberpunk and Uncharted, but you know what I mean, it's a neat little bundling. Now, again, my biggest thing for this not being like Game Pass is it doesn't have the day one stuff, the big first-party stuff being available day one. I wish that was the case. I really do. Then I would say must buy. But for now, it's mostly you get more access to games and you get some different games. So the big part of this that might be for some players is the Classics catalog. So there's a few different ways to enjoy the Classics catalog. Now, they put in the remasters here, but I don't know, that doesn't feel quite genuine in comparison to they've got PS3 games. Yeah, they've got PSP, PlayStation, PS2 games. So let's take a look at what they have for PSP, PlayStation, and PS2. So the PS2 games are done in a way where it's 1080p, frame rates will vary. The PS1 stuff, 1440p, and again, frame rates will vary. It seems like some stuff, though, is going at 60, so that's kind of nice. So we're getting things, let's put this alphabetically. I don't like the default sorting. Let's do this alphabetically. So you get to try out, Ape Escape. And these are games that you can play in a couple different ways. And there's a PS5 version and a PS4 version. Keep in mind, you're getting the most out of this service when you're on the PS5. When you're on the PS4, there's quite a bit less, I would say. So, we got Ape Escape, we've got Dark Cloud, there's Toy Story, there's some neat stuff. The Jack series, and, the Jack Combat Racing, the little Odd World. And when you go here, you get kind of a choice. So you get a download, you can wishlist. You can also buy these games if you don't want to download them. But when you go to download, it's kind of download the PS5 version, download the PS4 version. And, that's just kind of a neat thing. So I'm hoping that this is something that expands, because honestly, it's really limited. Really, really, really limited. There's some decent stuff. I think there's actually more than this, but this is the suggested one or something like that. Huh. remember there being a lot more in this offering, but you know, there is some decent games. You know, Syphon Filter, Ape Escape, Tekken 2, the old Worms games, Star Wars Bounty Hunter is kind of cool. You know what I mean? It's some neat stuff, but it also, again, just feels very limited, and I hope that they are going to aggressively expand that. I know licensing and stuff's hard, but I was hoping for a lot more first-party stuff. Now, something that's a lot more impressive is the PS3 catalog. So, they just can't seem to get backwards compatibility going for PS3, which sucks. But they've come up with the idea of, it used to be like PS Now, and it's just kind of bundled in here. You can stream these PS3 games. Now, the quality of so many of these games is just awful. Like, it really, like, Fallout 3 is, like, sub 720, 30 FPS, same with New Vegas. Like, no anti-alias. Like, it's just, like, it looks... A lot of the stuff looks really, really rough to play. And I would say there's, you know, for me, I thought there would be more, again, first-party exclusives and stuff like that. Like, you know, we've got the infamous stuff going on here. But for example, when we go down to R, and there's a good variety here, I'd say. Lots of different games. We've got the Ratchet and Clanks and stuff. But when we go down here to Resistance, we've got Resistance 3, and it's like, well, I wanted to try the series, and it's... You know, I think they need remasters anyways, but, you know, it's just like a lot of the stuff doesn't look very good. It doesn't play very good. You know, my megabit's 100 and I think it's 130 and then 30 or 120 and 30. You know, it's going to fluctuate a little bit, but, you know, it's a decent signal, you know, but it looks really, I don't know, at times pixelated, sometimes there's scan lines. It's just like... There's good variety here, I'd say. You know, you get a wide range of different games. Some decent heavy hitters, like if you got some kids, you know, the Lego games, really nice. But it's just like, I think they do need to do a lot more work on the streaming quality. And hopefully it would be great to get some sort of improvement for a lot of these games. Because some of them I was just like, I can't even stand playing this. It looks so terrible. And it's not even necessarily the streaming fault. I mean, to a degree it's the streaming fault. But like, I really hope that there's... more coming for that legacy thing. Like this whole service has really made me think that PlayStation needs to do more for their legacy content. It's just like a lot of it just looks so rough. So this is the more expansive cloud streaming. This is where you get, you know, you can cloud stream a lot more games. So we were mostly focused on the older stuff. This is, you know, the newer stuff that you can cloud stream. And, you know, you can download a lot of this stuff too. And you're going to see some repeats because obviously, you know, we were showing off just the classics. Now this is like everything. So there's quite a bit here, right? Different weird titles. You got your Fallouts, you got some Far Cries, got some Final Fantasy stuff. You know, like there's quite a bit to play and enjoy. And again, a lot of this outside the PS3 you can download, right? You can download it and have it locally. So that's not too bad. I think some of the older games are kind of fun to dive into and see, and you know, there's some really neat stuff in this, and you can tell like there's a lot that you could just stream if you want to do your whole streaming thing. Again, that's going to vary based on your network and your interest in streaming, or if you'd rather just download stuff. It's really up to you and what you want to kind of go after when you're doing this, right? So then we've got the PlayStation Plus game catalog. So there's a lot of stuff here. We're gonna kind of dive into this. This is going to bleed over into other categories. Now, the PlayStation Plus collection. But I mean, if you were already on PS5 and you already, you know, had this, it's nothing new, right? So it's kind of there. But I mean, if you're playing PlayStation for the first time with the PS5, kind of a good collection of mega hits, mega big games from the era, right? That's nice to have. That's good. Monthly games, you get a selection of monthly games every month, so that's kind of beneficial if you're on the PS5 side of things. You get discounts on stuff. Again, this isn't really like new, but it's something that I'm covering as part of the review because it's part of the experience. But yeah, you get discounts on games and whatnot. And then there's exclusive packs. Again, this is also something that's not like new unless they've added some specific new ones, but you know, you get like Fortnite stuff, Call of Duty stuff, Rocket League things, free in-game items, unlockables. Like there's a lot here. If you've never played on PlayStation, you're getting the service for the first time and you want to play like free-to-play games and stuff. Yeah, there's some stuff in there. You can get some little benefits and bonuses. You get the online multiplayer, you get nobody does the game help. Then there's the cloud storage, which I think should be honestly free for anyone, but you know, whatever it is what it is, and the share play, which is kind of neat. So we talked about the classics catalog. Let's dive in here again. So, you know, it's a good offering. You get to see lots of different games. Again, it's weird that the remasters are like thrown in here because it's, you know, this is not quite the same. But yeah, I really want more of these ones. Like, it's really not quite at my expectations, I would say, for PSP, PlayStation, PS2. Like it's dry in there. Like there's some good stuff, but it's dry. Then we did the trials. They got the must-play games. I kind of also found this like part of the PlayStation to be a little like hard to get around it. So it's like it's a brand new area, right near your main kind of like dashboard, right? Like you see this, it's right there. It's right at the beginning. You go and it's right here. But it's always kind of like it takes quite a few buttons to get to like just playing the PS3 stuff. So I got to go to like classics. And, well, that opens up the classics right away. I gotta go classics, and then I gotta go down to PS3, and then I gotta go all the way over if I want to view all, and then I gotta pick one. It just, like, I feel like it could be a little tap quicker or something like that, if that makes sense. But that's just a UI thing. And then they got ones based on your gameplay, and then they've got some must-play stuff. So, you know, your monthly games, there's a lot here. They also have the Ubisoft Plus Classics. So this is also, again, because, you know, there isn't as much legacy type stuff on PlayStation, so you don't get as many, you know, games worth here, right? Like, this is, like, it's a good selection of games for Ubisoft, but it's not a whole lot of games, right? Like, it's an okay amount, but still feels limited. We did the exclusive discounts, and that is kind of, like, the whole thing, right? Like, that's kind of the whole experience. And then you can tab over like benefit stuff, but it's just kind of repeating menus almost. And then the collections area is kind of neat because it's like, okay, maybe you want to play an action game, maybe you want to play a sports game. I'd imagine this is going to change all the time, right? As they add stuff and stuff leaves and whatnot. It's simulation, fighting, like it's a good way to break things down. And then another spot for the classics and the Ubisoft Plus Classics. But it's like, hey, you know, I want to do a fighting game. What kind of fighting games do they have? They got a good selection of fighting games. There's quite a few here, right? So I think this is good. Again, similar to like a Game Pass type thing where it's like, hey, you want to bolster your library. This is a good way to do it. Are you like playing on PlayStation for the first time? Yeah, well, this is a pretty good way to get access to like a lot of games. And this is like all the games that we're looking at right now. So you've got different like franchises. You got like the Batman Arkham series. You got a little bit of Battlefield. That's through the Plus package, I think. You know, you got your BioShock trilogy. Like there's some genuinely good stuff. People love Bloodborne. You know, there's a lot of games. A little bit of COD, which I don't know if that counts or if that's part of my like PS library that I got. Because you know you get the games monthly or whatever. Yeah, you got Control Ultimate Edition, you've got Crisis Remastered. They went for variety. You know, it's got some big hits in it. It's got some big titles from, you know, the PlayStation 5 library, from the PlayStation 4 library. I wouldn't say there's like mega hit after mega hit, but like if you have been kind of not really buying or necessarily paying attention, or again are new, this is going to give you quick access to a really good, robust library of games. You got your Fallouts, you got your Fear, a little bit of Far Cry. Like there's a lot here you can see. You could be like, wow, you know, there's got to be a game for everyone, I would say, or a little bit of a franchise for everyone. I do think they have a lot of work to do, though, in regards to building up like their first-party offerings within this program, and just offering some, I don't know, like it's a very interesting concept, and I'm kind of more at the point where I'm like, where are they going to take this down the road? Is this just a start? Or is this kind of what we're getting, and it's just kind of like you're going to get a couple things here or there, and that's kind of going to be it? Because there are definitely some franchises that I was hoping to see a lot more of particularly first party, particularly legacy things. I mean, you got knack. What else do you need other than knack? But you know what I mean. I just kind of like, I look and I'm like, okay, there's stuff I like here. There's good things, but it's like, huh. I was hoping for something really distinctly new that I could jump into and kind of play. Like, I've played almost all of this stuff. You know, I do reviews, and it makes sense. And I'm sure there's other people that look here and they're like, whoa, there's so much stuff. And it's like, it depends on the type of player you are. Either this is going to complement your existing library, and you're going to have to decide if it's worth it in that regard, or this is going to be the builder of your library on the platform. Or for some people, you're going to kind of look at this and be like, I've bought a lot of this, or, you know, I don't know if I really need all of this, or I wanted more from the legacy, because you're paying more. You're basically paying more to get the legacy stuff and that, and or the streaming type stuff. And it's like, you know, it's going to really vary person to person whether or not you find value in it. That's the biggest thing I want people to take away from this. Is kind of like, am I getting the value out of the package I go for? Do I want more? Do I want, you know, a little bit less? I think it's really going to be up to the players. I'm not blown away, but I'm kind of like, oh, there's good stuff in here. A lot of games I can play, but at the same time, I was kind of like, I was just really hoping there was even more crazier things that would grab my attention. But there are some fun surprises. There are some big hits. You know, Elder Scrolls Online. There's some good stuff in here. There really is. You know, they did a pretty decent job, I would say, for this kind of offering. But at the end of the day, for me to really long-term be in this, I'm going to have to carefully check what are they going to be adding, what's going to be new here. You know, is this going to be more or less what the library is, or, you know, is there more down the road that we're going to have? Because I'm just kind of like, it's cool, but it's not really necessarily fully grabbing my, you know, my wallet, my month-to-month charge, right? Because that's something that you're just going to be month-to-month on. So you might actually look at it like, okay, this month I like what they got, I'll jump in. This other month, I don't know. But if you're looking for some weird things, the Ape Escapes are kind of funny. You know, like they've got like the Batman games I said. Beyond's pretty decent if you want like more of a narrative focused thing. I don't know. It's just like, it's a really interesting, of course, the classic Bubsy, the Wolf, like it's so variety, which I think is a good thing, because I think a lot of things when it comes to these streaming game libraries that we're starting to see pop up, these subscriptions, is people seem to only want mega hits, but people also forget that others like a variety of games. And when you're only making or only providing a certain genre or something like that, I think other people maybe feel a little left out, because not everybody loves, you know, just the straight up shooters. Some people want something more strategy wise, they want something more fighting wise, they might want something unique, and I think this has a little bit of everything. So value wise, really going to come up person to person. Is it the greatest deal in gaming? I don't know if I really feel that way, but I think they got a good start here, and I'm more intrigued to see where this is at after perhaps a year of this service being available.
CBDC has an agent pinned down at your location. They're requesting cover fire.
You lose. Continue. Round one. Fight.